Hello everyone, and thanks for watching my video blog. This is I believe the fourth or fifth in a series that I've been doing since about the beginning of March. The subject today is going to be the 7 natural laws of the universe, and why I'm actually going to be talking about this is because it's something that the law of attraction has been out for a few years, and that's not the only law of the universe. And the natural laws, these are all the laws that God has created, or the universe has created, or the goddess has created, that can't change. There's nothing we can do about them. Our free will does not overpower them. We certainly do try to overpower them. But if we go into the flow of these energies and understand them, we can actually find a very fulfilling life of passion and understanding, and we can really be in alignment with co-creation of the universe and co-creation with everybody else around us. So I think it's important for us to study these and understand them. The most important thing I'm going to tell you is I'm going to give you the 7 laws, and I'm going to kind of give you some examples and some exercises and things to work with them. The one thing I want to share with you is that don't read these just for facts to understand, oh, I know the 7 natural laws. That is not going to work. These are something that you want to feel in your heart and your mind, body, and soul. And if you can, when you start doing that, then you can start practicing these on a regular basis. And so what happens is that if you are aware of them, then you can start really practicing self-awareness. You can do self-assessments on yourself. You can use these to process in your meditations. You can use them in pretty much every aspect of your life. So it's very important that you don't just read these and go, oh, okay, cool. And you have to practice them. You have to, not only understand them, we have to remember, not only do we have intellect, but we have the part of ourselves that needs to experience, and then we have the part of ourselves that needs to apply what we've learned. And so if we can do that and use this as a process of growth, then that's going to be really beneficial to you. So anyways, I'm going to go get started, and I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions, put some comments down below. And if there's a subject that you would like me to cover, definitely put that in the comments below as well. And if I can cover it, or if I can find a spiritual teacher out there that can cover it, I definitely will. So enjoy, and blessing.
So going throughout, I've prepared a PowerPoint presentation that's going to be in this video. And it's going to be showing you points from an article I found online that a teacher of mine had given me a long time ago to study the 7 natural laws of the universe. So through these, I'm actually going to read you these PowerPoint, but then we're going to talk about the essence of it and the lesson in it. And then we're going to go into some tips and experiences and how you can apply it in your life. So with that being said, the first PowerPoint here, it says the law of attraction is just part of one of the 7 natural laws of the universe, as I was talking about before. The law of vibration. Of the 7 laws, it may be the most important in how our everyday life plays out, but all of the laws are in effect whether we are aware of them or not. So basically, we can be going throughout our day-to-day lives and doing all the things that we're doing, and the natural laws are still happening. They're still being applied to life, and no matter what we are doing, they're still happening. So the thing that is a benefit here is, so knowing the 7 laws and how they work can make a significant difference in applying them to create the life you truly desire. So it's obviously that all of us want to grow, and we want to have happiness and joy, and we want to understand ourselves better, and we want to understand why certain things happen to us and all that kind of stuff. So understanding these laws and how they work and apply in our lives would be a great benefit to us. So our first slide in this series, are the first law of the 7 natural laws is well, let me actually back that up. There actually is no first or second or third or fourth. There's no particular order for them. What they are is just laws, and they weren't governed by anybody other than what created this universe, which could be consciousness, or whatever you want to refer that to. That is, the first one we're going to cover is the law of vibration. So this law states that everything vibrates and nothing rests. Vibrations of the same frequency resonate with each other. So like attracts like energy. Everything is energy, including your thoughts. Consistently focusing on a particular thought or idea attracts a vibrational match. So with that being said, let's talk just a little bit about that, because an old friend of mine said, and she learned it from her teacher, she said, energy follows intentions. And the story actually comes to where she was taking this class and she paid quite a bit of money for the class, and then her teacher on the very first day walked in, and he was already like, I don't know, I don't remember if he was late or not, but he just basically walked in and he said to the whole classroom, he said, energy follows intentions, and then he walked out of the room. And so everybody was kind of looking around and pondering and kind of wondering what the heck was going on. And what was really going on is the fact is that he was trying to say to them something extremely important. Extremely important. And that is that what goes on inside of you, what happens inside of you, is what creates this universe. So an example of that is this. I heard somebody say a long time ago, it says, we do not attract what we want, we attract what we are. So meaning if your mind chatter is always going inside of yourself and saying, I don't want this, I don't want to be broke, I don't want to be short on the electric bill, I don't want my car to break down, how am I going to figure this out? If it's those thoughts, then that's what you're going to be attracting. That's the co-creative power that you're putting into something, and that's the frequency or vibration you're working at. So, so if you focus on what you do want, you want to be able to grow, you want to have love, and then you start acting or responding on those things that you want to do, then that'll start changing your frequency. So how you apply this is to focus on what you want instead of what you don't want. And so I kind of want to take us through a brief exercise with this, and basically have everybody just kind of relax into thinking about what it is they want. So basically I want you to just take some deep breaths in. So take a deep breath in and then exhale out. Deep breath in and exhale out. And it's important that you pay attention to your breaths. And you can do that 3 or 4 more times. Basically the idea is I'm just trying to get you just kind of focused and relaxed and kind of in this space. So how I want you to do this is I want you to start pondering and thinking and focusing on what it is you do want in life. Or let's just do something very simple just to start off with and play with. Let's just find something simple that you would just really like to just to see, just as proof, or as whatever. It doesn't matter. Just figure out what that is. And so what I want you to say is, what would it take for me to have that in divine timing and divine order, with no harm to none, make it easy? And what I want you to do is I want you to just kind of have that feeling, and I want you to do this imagery in your mind just a little bit. That feeling, some of you that celebrated Christmas, or you're a little kid, I just want you to imagine being like 4, 5, 3, 2, whatever, and you're just so excited about a surprise or presents, or seeing a loved one, or whatever just get at that time, just give you that kind of excitement. The first time you went to Disney World, it doesn't matter. I just want you to get that childlike excitement. And so as you're feeling this excitement come up, I want you to say in your mind, surprise me. Meaning what you're saying to the universe is, I want this, and I want it in divine timing and divine order. Make it easy, with no harm to none. What would it take? And then what you're going through is you're saying to the universe, surprise me. So basically what to surprise me is letting go. You're saying right there, I trust you. I trust you to bring me the right and perfect thing, whatever it is. So if it's love, you might have one image in your mind, and the universe brings you what your vibrational match is. And so what the universe is going to start doing is it's going to start co-creating with you. So as you're practicing and you're starting to focus in on what you want instead of what you don't want, then the universe is going to start bringing you, because there's going to be kind of like a point in time where you're still pulling into old habits and coming back, pulling into old habits and then coming back. So what's going to happen is that you're going to have to really practice. This is going to be like having a exercising or exercising your muscles or whatnot, it's going to be a study for you. So what you're doing is you're changing your manifestation muscles so you can change your frequency into what you do want. So what that means is that this is where people think that there's lessons that come, and God prepares us. The people that use the word God or goddess, the God and goddess prepare us for where we want to be. And so what happens, though, is that the universe is really in this influx area, and it's basically while you're transitioning from this area to this area, so it takes you up the step ladder into the new frequency. And how it does that is that you start to continue to create what you don't want, but what you're going to do is you're going to practice focusing on what you do want, and then you're going to ponder what you are holding on to on what you don't want. In other words, am I still holding on to this small mindset? Am I still holding on to this victim mentality? And why am I holding on to this victim mentality? Why do I keep on attracting these same people? So the reason why you want to do that is because you're wanting to become self-aware of why you continue to bring in and attract the same things. And so when you become self-aware, then you can let it go. And then you can move into your next realm of vibration. You're going to go up to another level. So it's a lot of information, but I think it's very beneficial to what we're talking about. So the law of relativity states that nothing is what it is until you relate it to something. So point of view is determined by what the observer is relating to. The nature, value, or quality of something can only be measured in relation to another object. So how you apply this is to practice relating your situation to something worse than yours, and you will feel good about where you are. So I had to ponder this one for a while because it actually kind of made me go, what? And I was like, how is that possible? And so I was like, so you're telling me that I have to think about something that is worse than where I'm at. And I thought to myself, this is like some kind of judgment. And so what it actually is not. So where you're at is you're saying, let's read this again. Practice relating your situation to something worse than yours, and you will feel good about where you're at or where you are. And so I'm just going to bring in an old exercise that I learned in my Theta Healing workshop. And basically it goes like this. It's called a digging process. And so I remember years ago I was working with somebody that was getting ready to lose their house. And so their house was in foreclosure, and there was nothing, no matter what they did, they were going to prevent from losing this house. So what I started to do is I started to do a digging process for them, and I asked them this question. I said, what would be worse to you than losing your house? And of course their first mind was like, this is the worst possible thing, because the mind goes into a Fritzy loop. It goes into this huge Fritzy loop, and a Fritzy loop is basically where your mind is looping over and over and over and over again, and it's not it's fixated on this one thing. So where I went with this is I finally got them calmed down. I said, well, just humor me a little bit and tell me what would be worse than that. And it really just came down to, we dug down a little bit deeper. We kept on going down, and they said, well, I want to have security, and this was my mother's home and that kind of stuff. And then we digged even deeper, and we finally got down to they said, well, I'd have to sleep in my car. And I said, well, what would be worse than that? And then they were sleeping under a bridge and all that kind of stuff. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. Even if you were sleeping under a bridge, do you think that your needs would still be taken care of? And they said, well, no, I wouldn't have my house. And I said, but let me ask you a question. Would the bridge be providing you shelter from the rain? And they stopped for a second, and they thought to themselves, what? And so what had happened is she finally said to me, you're right. I still would be taken care of. So then I said, so if you don't want that to happen, let's change this. Let's change our mindset. But now we've dived into the worst possible scenario, and now we can build ourselves back up. So let's not focus in on what you don't want, because her fear was losing her security, or her safety of her home, and where she'd lived for so many years, where her children had lived, and all that kind of stuff. So then she started. So then we went back to the law of vibration, focusing on what you do want and not on what you don't want. So if you can relate your situation to something worse than yours, and you will feel good. Then you'll feel good about where you're at. So right at that point in time, she had a home. She was still living there, and incidentally, very shortly after that, friends of hers helped her find a place to live, and she was able to move there. So the law of cause and effect is the next one we're going to cover. And so this states for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, and every cause has an effect, and every effect has a cause. So be at cause for what you desire, and you will get the effect. All thought is creative, so be careful what you wish for, and you will get it. So basically, what we put out there is always going to come back tenfold. So if we have bad thoughts about people, bad thoughts about ourselves, it's going to come back again on us. So this again goes back to the law of vibration. So, but just always know, if you're going to put ill will out there, ill will is going to come back. If you're going to put worry out there, it's going to come back. And so, and I give you an example, as one time I wanted a job really bad, and I projected my mind into that person and said, I want this job, and I said I want $60,000 a year, I want this, and I want that. Well, incidentally, I lost the job 3 weeks later. And what is even more interesting is that what goes out there comes back. Not only did I lose my job, but then I had to go through a very long time of things just happening where it felt like the whole world was falling apart. And so the more we try to control a situation, the more control we lose, the less control we actually have. But if we're in the flow with natural law, then the more control we actually have. So I may not have been meant to have that job, but I really thought I wanted it. And there was many other reasons going on in my mind. And basically, I was just trying to control what was happening. And so with this, how you would apply it is to constantly think and act on what you desire to be effective at getting it. So again, let's say that one more time. Consistently think and act on what you desire to be effective at getting it. So you're going to continue to think about the things that you desire, whether it be a home, happiness, love, those kind of things. And what's going to happen is as you do that, if like say you want love, it's going to start giving you opportunities to make choices for yourself for you. Because if you want love, you have to learn to love yourself first. So how are you going to do that? You're going to start acting on things that make you happy and things that bring passion out in you, that light you up, those kind of things. So the cause will be out there, and then back will come the effect. So again, consistently think and act on what you desire to be effective at getting it. So then the next one here is the law of polarity, and I think this one is very important too, as well. So this states that everything has an opposite. Hot has cold, light has dark, up has down, good has bad, and the absence of that which you are not, that which you are, is not. Think about that one for a second. Polar opposites make existence possible. If what you are not didn't coexist with what you are, then what you are could not be. Therefore, do not condemn or criticize what you are not or what you don't want. So this is very interesting because I see this in the spiritual community quite a bit, and you see it all over. You see it all over. People don't like greed. They don't like this. They don't want that. And so, it's very interesting because most of us have come from our polarity. So there might have been times when you were greedy. There may have been times when you were very compassionate. And so you have to really pay attention to these things that are happening in your life, so the law of polarity kicks in. And the reason why it's there is to make us understand all aspects of who we are. Because when it comes to good and bad, there is good and bad in all of us. We have the capability of doing some pretty horrific things and some very wonderful things. And so when we understand the light and darkness in us, and we dive into our darkness instead of avoiding it, then what's going to happen is they're going to eventually come together as one, and the polarity will be like a level or a balance within us, so they will work together in a cohesive environment. So how we apply this is to look for the good in people and situations. What you focus on, you make bigger in your life. So If you're really upset with a person because they betrayed you, or you felt betrayed, or you felt offended, all that kind of stuff, then the universe is going to bring in more people that are going to offend you. Because remember, we attract what we are and not what you want. So the people out in front of you that are experiencing the things that are happening unto you, and you're in like a peaceful state, let's say, and you're really relaxed and somebody's really loud, that's obviously a polarity. But if you were still in that moment and saw the goodness in them, the truth coming out in them, that everybody has a beautiful essence to them and a beautiful heart, then you would not be attracting back the hard feelings or the anxiety that comes from that. So the next one here is the Law of Rythym, which states that everything has a natural cycle. The tides go in and back out. Night follows day, and life regenerates itself. We all have good times and bad times, but nothing stays the same. Change is constant. And knowing that this too shall pass is great wisdom. It's about the ebb and flow of the universe. So it's really interesting because you may be going through the worst possible thing right now. I mean, the worst possible thing. But if you really stop and think about it, things have happened to you in the past that were really bad, but they all passed. And if you really just get quiet and get still and understand that, yes, this is kind of a shaky time, however, right around the corner is going to be a great time. And this comes back to reverse back to the law of polarity. In order for us to understand these things, we have to understand that the law of Rythym is going to be effect, that everything is going to, happen through a natural cycle. Friends are going to come, they're going to come back, they're going to go, family members are going to pass, these things are going to happen. There's nothing you can do to prevent that. So what happens, I was just talking to a woman the other day, and I was saying that, my dog is 7 years old, and he's a Rottweiler, and their lifespan goes to about 10 years, and she was really she didn't want to talk about it. And because that thought of him passing really got to her. Or any animal for that matter, because they're pure love. And so I said, there's nothing I can do to prevent him from passing away eventually, his physical body, but his soul always lives. And I'm going to enjoy the moments I have with him right now, because if I'm constantly focused on this or focused on the fact that I don't like death, then that experience is going to keep on coming in my life over and over again. Or it might not be death. See, death isn't always the ending of life. It's the ending of something. So these are just things to think about. So how to apply this is when you are on a downswing, know that things will get better. Think of the good times that are coming. So it's interesting because a friend of mine was just applying for work, and he didn't get a few jobs, and I said, well, that just means there's something better around the corner. Or I had another friend that lost his job. I said, that just means the universe decided there's something better for you. Take that attitude. Think about that, and think about that through anything that you're doing, that there's always something better for you. And so when you're looking at things that you want to manifest or that you want, or you're praying, say to the universe, that or better, because you deserve the best of everything. And so these things will start changing how you look at the world. So the law of gestation, and this is something that all of us could actually use a little bit of practice on. So this states that everything takes time to manifest. All things have a beginning and grow into a form as more energy is added to it. Thoughts are like seeds planted in our fertile minds that bloom into physical experience if we have nourished them. So this is something super important. I want you to just think about this. So we have an idea, we want to do it, we want to go out and experience it. We have goals in our lives. So what happens is we go and we start it, or it just becomes an idea in our head, and we never act on the idea. And part of that is because of fear or anxiety, or we don't think we're not good enough, we have a sense of smallness, whatever. And those things are always there. So then, or we start it, and then it doesn't move as fast for us, and then we get impatient, and we don't have the stamina it takes to continue forward. And my saying is always, keep on keeping on. And what's going to happen is the universe is going to bring you all kinds of experiences, because the vibrational frequency is going to change. You're going to start elevating yourself, and you're going to start hitting new levels and all that kind of stuff. And then what's going to happen is all these new things are going to come and prepare you for the next way of thinking. So as I started off as a speaker, I just started off in small churches, and I had been a corporate trainer before and all that kind of stuff. And so then I started getting more ideas, and then I started letting go of things, of ideas. And the more ideas you let go of, have the ideas, but be open to being in the flow of new opportunities. And so as that's happened, more opportunities have come, and then I get to practice my passion over and over and over and over again. So how to apply this is to stay focused and know that your goals will become reality in the right time. So divine timing and divine order. So the law of transmutation is the next one, and states that the energy moves in and out of physical form. Your thoughts are creative energy. The more you focus your thinking on what you desire, the more you harness your creative power to move that energy into results in your life. The universe organizes itself according to your thoughts. I always say thoughts and feelings. And so how you apply this is to put your energy and effort, your thoughts and actions into attracting what you desire, and you will surely attract the physical manifestation of that energy. So as you continue working on something, it's going to put energy out there, and then it's going to transmute you to go to the next level. And energy is going to, things are going to end here, and it's going to go out and transmute that. And friendships are going to end. Families are not going to understand, all that kind of stuff. And that is all going to be happening because you're going to be transmuting stuff and transmuting yourself, most importantly. So I hope these are all beneficial to you, because I think that if we practice these on a daily basis and form these in meditation, and then practice them, be aware of self-awareness, you'll really start to see a difference in your life. And thank you very much for listening. Peace.